I think we're live. We live?
Not yet. Any moment. Bingo.
Okay, great. Share it to the group. Do your thing now.
Doing it.
And I'll hit record.
Bingo.
Welcome everybody to Shredders Unite Thursday night business call.
Doing it.
And I'll hit record. Awesome. Sorry, I had a little feedback there. I am super excited tonight, and we have a very, very special guest. When I came to our fulfillment company, our network marketing company, Lenny had started about the same time, a little bit before I did. This is, I'm talking again about Lenny Evans. He is an amazing individual, but what really Lenny has been at every level of training within Isagenix. And my first event that I went to, I remember seeing him, our second event, he was the featured trainer on stage. So a little bit about Lenny Evans. Lenny Evans started with our company at the early stages 17 years ago. He has pretty much won every award. He's been honored as Man of the Year, President, I think the President's Award. He's Spirit of Isagenix, or the Heart of Isagenix, basically what Melanie has. But he has been beyond inspirational in terms of his ability to connect with the audience. Sometimes he makes you cry, but he moves people to take action. And I am so excited because he was basically the 36th millionaire in Isagenix. And before I go any further, our disclaimer is simply that if you hear of the word the legacy group or Isagenix Millionaire, that means the cumulative earnings over a period of your tenure, if you will. So it could be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But as soon as you accumulate $1 million in earnings, you're recognized as an Isagenix millionaire. You're in the legacy club. And Lenny, again, was millionaire number 36. Income that is dependent upon the individual, that is going to be based on your skill set, that is going to be based on your understanding of the industry, the network marketing, as well as your ability to communicate and bring others into your team and team building. So that there's no guarantees there. On the basis of any of our claims as it relates to health, that's my story, that's an individual story. Again, everyone's results is going to be unique and different, and there are no guarantees there. Lenny, I want to bring you in, but bottom line, buddy, you are the heart of Isagenix. You are the inspiration for this company. You literally started the training and wrote many of the programs that we had. So I'd like to start this off by welcoming you, not only as a new ER shredder, you've been with us almost from the beginning, but the fact that we have the ability to learn from the master, from someone who's seen all iterations, and you'll have the ability to compare, contrast, and hopefully give us lots of golden nuggets in terms of what we can focus on going forward. But without further ado, Lenny Evans, welcome to the Shredders Unite Biz Call.
Thank you, Bob. I'm so happy to be here. I've been excited since you asked me. And I'm just so excited and humbled, really, to be part of this right now. Gosh, I'm so happy. And I don't know if Mimi's on here, but she wrote a little part of a ditty for me, and she left it on my voicemail last night. And it is so amazing. I don't know if she can play it. I'd like to see it. It's like 30 seconds.
I'm gonna see if I can play it right now. So let's get that started. Let's see here.
I thought you could do it live, but either way, it's okay.
I have the ukulele, but it's up in the closet.
Oh, no worries. Well,
I'll
sure
play
you're
it
going to do
tomorrow,
it.
Lenny, on my live. I do Flex Friday songs. I love you.
I love it. I love it. We love you. I love you. You're such a...
When Sean made the comment about Lenny Evans becoming like a kid again. And Lenny's the one who said, I came alive on day 5. We don't have to grow up because we're here shredded kids. We're doing things we never thought we ever do again. We're having so much fun in 2021. And we'll always be here shredded kids. All right, Lenny, looking forward to your interview tomorrow.
So good. I love it.
And that is one of the tenets of our program is fun. And maybe we got to give you a lot of credit for what you've been able to do for us as a team, and just your just setting the mood straight. So Lenny, welcome to the call. I thought I would start off with basically learning a little bit more about what brought you to Isagenix initially, or the health industry. I mean, now a lot of people, I'm assuming some people know your story, but I know this goes back years. We're going back 17 years, obviously. What brought you to the nutritional industry? What brought you to Isagenix? How did this all start?
Oh gosh, it was back about the year 2000 for me. I was the senior vice president of a national franchise. We were opening hundreds of restaurants. I was in charge of that. And we were trying to be the healthy people. And so it was fresh sandwiches and non-fat frozen yogurt. And so we really thought we were healthy. And I got into that a little bit. And that kind of led me to a few different things, which led me to speaking at an event one time. And the woman that was there, she was a consultant for Subway, and she wanted to talk to me, and we talked about doing Body for Life. And then she goes, "Hey, you ever done a cleanse?" So I took a Dale Carnegie course with her. She became my Dale Carnegie course, and she asked me if I'd ever cleansed. And that's how it all started, right in 2004. And the first time she asked me, I said no, because it sounded kind of like an enema, a coffee enema. Didn't sound very fun at all. I said no. And then she asked me again a couple weeks later. She goes, "Hey, did you think any more about that cleanse?" And I said, not one time. It never, ever even went into my mind. And then she said, "Hey, do you like to read?" And I'm like, "Well, I do, because I was devouring Dale Carnegie, all about it. I took the whole class." And she gave me a book by a guy named Bill Mayer, who had enrolled Nikki. And so basically what ended up happening is I read this book called The Magic in Asking the Right Questions. I was like, what? And then after I did my 9-day, and that it was part of my process, but I came alive with that 9-day, and just, I'm telling you, I don't want to go too far into my story, but I was primed in my life to find Isagenix when I did. It was like a match. It was my dad, and that's what Nikki told me. Nikki Vescovi, my Dale Carnegie teacher, the third time she goes, "If you want to talk about Isagenix?" I'm like, "Not really." And she's like, "God," she goes, "Do you like to read?" And that's when she gave me Bill's book. But she said, "There's something about you and Isagenix. It's like a destiny." I remember she said that, like fate. And then Sean and Crystal started talking about fate. And I don't know, it was just ever since that time, when I found it and when I realized what it was, Bob, such a simple message. I was used to really hard messages in my life. I had to sell franchises for $25,000 for a franchise fee. And then you have to come up with another 200,000 cash to open up. And I did that a few hundred times for people. And then, when I was a missionary, oh my gosh, my message was almost impossible to accept. And still, I had success with that hard message. When I found ISA, after that 9-day, I came alive. I was like, the message is to help people get healthy and help them maybe make more money if they want. And it was just so fun and easy because I didn't overcomplicate it. Jim and Kathy came into my life, and Jimmy Smith came into my life. And they just said, "Do this and this." And I was so humble because they had something. You and I talked about this. They had something I didn't have. And I really like these people. They had such a high frequency, a high vibration. Like I wanted to be around them. And so I just did what they said. And that's literally what happened. I really think I became an accidental millionaire. I had never really made any money. I had really never made any money. I was a high school teacher. I sold real estate for a little while to make my dad happy. I in the restaurant business, it sounds like I did really well, but I was just a worker. I was an employee. And basically, it wasn't until Isagenix came into my life that it happened so fast that I kind of became an accidental millionaire. And we'll get to this in a while because I want to bring you back in. But I'm telling you, Bob, the thing that really was that we only had that 9-day. We had some magical results happening after 9 days. I had magical results. I felt like I was shot out of a cannon. I followed that 9-day to exactness. And even though, we have something better now, I know we're going to pause right there, but we do have something better. But even back then, because that's all we had, wow, man, people, the right people that got the right results, they got excited. And so, you know, that my story is that I was always in sales. I was a missionary. I was used to doing that kind of stuff. So when I found ISA, it was like, wow, this is such an easy message. I think it's taken me it took me about 14 years to really complicate it for myself, because if you keep it simple, it stays really easy, you know? But then I think we all go to work trying to complicate it, reinventing things. And that's why I'm just so grateful to be in this community, because I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a community like this. I've never seen results like these. And I've never even seen the support like this before. So I'm just so stoked to be here, Bob. I can't hear you.
That's my bad.
There
Ted
you go.
Shredder, my new puppy, is misbehaving. So I had to mute myself. I apologize. No, I said you went through a lot of things there. I wanted to go back and retouch on some. And they were overlapping. I guess first and foremost, for those that have not been familiar with our company, you mentioned Jim and Kathy. Jim and Kathy Coover are the founders of our company, along with John Anderson. And you mentioned Jimmy Smith. Jimmy Smith is the #1 income earner in our company. And it was really kind of his mastermind in the early years, talking about geometric progression and how to build a business, that if you were lucky enough to know Jimmy and follow his lead, you could be very, very successful. So I'll stop there, and I would like to ask you this question. You may have started, we both started in 04. I came into it for a health crisis, and I got a result. Felt like I was shot out of a cannon, felt amazing. Kind of grudgingly, my doctor said, you need to stay on this. So I had to eat humble pie until my person who introduced me, Peter Greenlaw, that, hey, dude, I told you I'd never do this for more than 30 days, but I need more stuff. But even though I had a business background like you, Lenny, I didn't quite accept or understand the opportunity. And I kind of was the guy in the back of the room with my arms crossed saying, not for me, good for you. You had a lot of business experience, but I know you mentioned some personal development work in here in terms of either Stephen Covey, obviously Dale Carnegie from an aspect of speaking. And of course, you mentioned being on mission. It sounds like you've had a tremendous amount of training, if you will, before this opportunity presented itself. Was that critical, do you feel, in you having an open mind to Isagenix, or how did you, because you lit up fast. So what was it that inspired you to say, oh my God, this is a great business opportunity, I'm running with it?
Well, you know, that's a great question, Bob. Thank you. I had gone to a network marketing meeting a couple times, and I went to a couple that was kind of exciting. I saw some people, just average people, making a lot of money. I was doing my restaurant thing, but always kind of like never making enough money. I was always the last to be paid as the little franchise owner of the store. Even as vice president, I had like a $50,000 salary. I mean, yearly. It doesn't really go very far, you know. But I think what ended up what I started to focus on right away was that there was this idea that leverage. Leverage was something I was after, and that's what I got. It was called the Power Wave. It was the guys they were the highest ranking people up in Amway, and I got this CD, and it was I started listening to it in my car all the time, and it was this thing called Power Wave, and it was about how Amway could do something, and you could, just if you had about 100 families ordering their toiletries through you, like kind of like Sam's Club or Walmart or Costco, how you could be making all this money. I'm like, what? I was trying to get it. That was back in like 2002, 2003. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to open up a bunch of restaurants. So I ended up opening 7, and it almost killed me. You know, I used to have hair like you and Sean. I'm not kidding. Okay. I used to have hair like you and Sean. And then I opened my first restaurant with 30 high school kids, my second restaurant with 30 high school kids, third, fourth, fifth, second. I mean, I had a lot of high school and college kids working for me, and they would burn the bread often, and I would lose my hair fast, right? And so, but what I saw with this, I couldn't get the leverage. They said that I had a buddy that owned 21 Taco Bells. And he said, it's about the time I hit 17, I became leveraged. I'm like, wow, I don't know if I can make it, man. I'm about to die at 7. And so I saw ISA for a second, and all of a sudden I got a check, and it was for $12.50 because I enrolled 2 people, one on my left and one on my right. And that's the model. And when that happened, I got this check for 12, but I thought, how did I get money? Where's the money? Where is it? Where's it going to be? Like, I was like, what is happening right now? And then I got that little ISA card, changed my life forever. And then so I think it was leverage, really, because Jimmy got into my life. You know, there's 2 things that have to happen. I'm gonna talk about this tonight, because this is called Come Alive 2, Come Alive Square. You got to come alive in your body, in your physical body, but then you got to come alive with the idea that you deserve to be wealthy. You deserve it. It's your birthright. And that you can, if you understand the geometric progression of numbers and how this thing works. And so,
did you get connected with Jimmy, like in a 3-way call back in the day? Or
yeah, Jimmy was my upline. Jimmy was my upline. Okay. Yeah, so Jimmy was my grandfather, and he enrolled me on the inside of Grace. And we don't need to get into all that, but he enrolled Kathy and Grace, if you know the story, and he built 4 legs. It was a miracle. I was one of his 4. And he maxed out 2 positions, which maxed out his position. It was the most miraculous thing I'd ever seen. And we can get into that later, people, on this, as it is an advanced call. But the thing was, I went to the first big barn meeting with the Escobars back in 2004. I drove up to Salt Lake, and I watched Tony, and it was the best product presentation I've ever seen in my life. I was speechless. I was like, wow, when I grow up, I want to present like Tony Escobar. That's the only thing I thought. And it was all about the product. And then Jimmy was talking about the numbers. But I want to tell you tonight, we're mixing the best of both. Because once you come alive physically and you help others come alive physically, then you can have that conversation. And then Jimmy comes in, because when you start to learn what these numbers are, you guys, you can have that night too, where you can't sleep, because you understand that if you just get a couple of people on the left and a couple of people on the right, what could happen in your life? It's remarkable. And it really is. And so, I mean, that's what I did. And they said, you got to talk to people. I'm like, oh, I hated that part of it. I didn't really want to I didn't want to have people feel like I was trying to sell them on this, you know? And I didn't quite get that. That's not what we're doing. But I just made it so appealing, and really went strong on the money back guarantee for the 9-day. It was like $150 and 139 is what it was like back then. And it was enough food for, about 11 days. It's so funny. That original 9-day always had the juiciness of 11 days inside it. Isn't that so cool? But we just never, we were waiting for Sean and Crystal to go through what they went through, and then to birth this, right? So back to your thing. I saw leverage for the first time in my life, Bob. And when I saw it, I said, that's my only way. That's my way. That's the way I'm going to be able to become time free. So there's physical freedom, and then there's this financial freedom that we do talk about. And you don't do it in the beginning. I've learned, I'm going to get to that later, but you do have that conversation at some point. And the more I had that conversation with people, wow, the more people were into it. And all of a sudden, I found myself going up and up in cycles, and I was just like pinching myself. I saved up all those first weeks and paid off my first credit card, cut it up, and then I cut up my next one. To this day, I don't have credit cards. Ever since that happened 17 years ago, I mean, seriously, some massive things happened as Isagenix came into my life. And I mean, it was remarkable. But again, it was simplicity. It was always simplicity. It was just getting people to come alive. We didn't use the terminology come alive back then. I always used the terminology shot out of a cannon. Would you like to be shot out of a cannon in a good way? And so, that's how this is all how it happened. Those results were so good for people that they found themselves, I didn't know even really what auto ship was, but the results were so profound, even back then, that people found their way to auto ship. They found their way to never being without that shake. They found their way to wanting to cleanse again in a couple of months. I wasn't even worried about that part of it. It was a miracle back then. And then we kind of lost our way, as you know. I did anyway.
Well, I think a lot of us, we created the bigger kits. We kind of, we got rid of the simplicity of the program, and it got complicated, and we started seeing a less than result. And I think that kind of started that downward spiral in terms of ease, if you will. But you said something very, very important, that if there's one thing that if someone's to watch, and if they got this one thing you just stated, and they understand it fully, it's worth its weight in gold. It's worth an education. And that is, you made the comment that Jim and Kathy and, you know, and Jimmy Smith had something that you wanted that you didn't have. But what you also did, either intuitively or because knowingly, is you partnered yourself with people at the very, very top of their game. In other words, we're a combination of the people who they say, the 5 people we hang out the most with, that's who we will mirror, or who we'll basically become. You saw right away, obviously, you basically hooked up with Jim and Kathy and Jimmy Smith, who is the best. And you were open and coachable, and you just did what Jimmy said. You said you went for it. And I applaud you, only because I sat there and thought it was too good to be true. It can't be. I don't understand the leverage here. How's this working? How does everybody get paid down to infinity? There's got to be something with this program. And I was always trying to find the break in it. That was my messed up brain. I applaud the fact that you saw the opportunity and you jumped in, because I had that same opportunity you did with Jimmy Smith. I heard the same presentation you did, and you went, "Oh my God, this is great." And I looked at it, I thought, oh.
You know, it's funny. There's something that I got that you didn't have happen to you, I don't think. And that was, I got the ability to do 3-way calls with Jimmy a lot. And okay. After that first call, he had his first $4,000 week in 2004. He's like, so I don't want to say old or anything now, because, you know, I'm 57 years young. I turned 58 on the 15th. And Jimmy was like 68 in this moment. And he's telling me all this stuff on the phone. And he's like, "Okay, go get 2." And I'm like, "Okay, I got 2." He goes, "Okay, do it again." So this is where it got different. I call him back. I said, "Jimmy, I got 2 more." He goes, "Dude, good job." I'm like, "Don't tell me." He goes, "That's right. Get 2 more." And it was the fun, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have got to actually do. I'm going to have to make these phone calls and go through my list and call people and get a yes or a no. And that was my, you know, it's funny. Years later, a few years ago, Stephen Covey himself, who wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I'm a trainer, certified Stephen Covey. That was my first personal growth guy. And I met Stephen. He's a great guy. And when he was about 90 years old, he interviewed me, and he chose me to be one of the 7 Habits of Highly Successful Network Marketing Professionals. It was the last book he ever wrote. And I think you can still get it at Sound Concepts. But anyway, he asked me some questions, and it was funny because I had all my numbers that first year. I was a machine. And I thought, I'm going to call 2 people a day. I did the math. You can do the math. What is the math on that? If you do 2 a day for 365, I popped off at a meeting and said, I'll call 2 people a day. And I was on record now. And so that's 730 people. Well, the first year, I only was able to talk to 252. I did my numbers and I failed miserably. And I was trying not to fail like such a failure. But those 252, something happened important. 200 said no. That was fine. They didn't want to do this crazy 9-day thing. I used to call it a revolutionary human cleansing technology. That's what I called it, man. I was into it, man. I was with Jack Canfield and John Gray. That's how I led. And it was an amazing thing. But I only signed up 52 people. And then Stephen Covey stopped me in our interview and he goes, 52? He goes, "Where were you born?" I said, "Las Vegas, sir." And he goes, "Las Vegas, 52. I said, "My dad was a blackjack dealer too." And he goes, 52 is how many cards are in a deck. you're going to get 4 aces. And I got 2 aces on my left, Dave MacArthur and Hillary Courtney on my one team. And I got 2 aces on my other team. There's 4 aces in every deck. So if we can just, and never, I just want to say this real quick, in honor of, how Sean becoming my mentor and Crystal, like, never bait and switch, always level with people, never over promise, ever, ever, ever. Always under promise and over deliver. It's the most simple business principle, but don't bait and switch. Don't ever do that, right? Because our truth is so strong already. It just is so powerful. So anyway, he brought that up in the book that he wrote, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Network Marketing Professionals. And I became the example of habit number 1, which is being proactive, because I actually did call 252 people. And that was what made the big difference. That was all I did. And then the results, you guys, I just want to make sure and get this across. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'll read it. It says, average results attract average vibration. Amazing results attract amazing vibration. Now, people are all awesome, but we're all vibrating differently. The better results you offer out there in the world, the higher vibrational people you're going to start to attract. So yes, I started hanging out with Jimmy Cathy. Yes, I started hanging out with Jimmy Smith and the Escobars, following them to meetings and stuff because they were geniuses. I followed Dr. Becky Natrajan around. Dr. John Gray became a groupie. I read his book. That's a great book, The Diet and Exercise Solution by the Mars and Venus, because I was so new to network marketing, but I've been prepared my whole life to be able to be in this position. And I'm just ever grateful that I was right there. It was amazing. It was amazing that I got to be there. And that because I did that and actually made 252 calls, got 200 no's, you do the math. You do the math. If you take 200 no's and you get paid a certain amount of money for those no's, that's about how, if I take my first $1 million, that's how it happened. If you take $1 million and you divide it by all my no's, 200, then I got paid $5,000 a no. The question becomes, would you be willing to ask a question and a no represents 5,000 if you could just remember that? And I remember Jimmy made us all think in cycles. Now, we're not there yet in the presentation, but we get paid in something called a cycle. And so he always said, he goes, oh, that watch, yeah, that was 5 cycles. Those shoes, that's 10 cycles. That car, he would always talk in cycles. And he got Dave MacArthur, me, Carl, all my whole team, Hillary, who brought in Holly, who brought in Emily Vavra. Are you kidding me? Like, are the Harders, Lori? I mean, it just was so epic, what was happening, all because I had the courage to make that many calls. And I never really, a lot happened in my life after that, Bob, and I never really built like I built that time. I'm just now with the ER Shred stepping back into my leadership and my ability to build a team. And I've got some brand new people that are kicking some ass already, and I'm so excited. Janelle Decker and Sean and just so many people that I'm so excited about. Jessica Benson's, I've been chiming in here. So I'm just excited about that. I don't know if that answered your question, Bob, but that's that.
No, your energy is so contagious. I could just sit there and just take it all in. So basically, to recap a little bit, you do, just so people understand, this isn't a business that you just jump into and ta-da, you're going to be successful. You have to work at it, 1. 2, you have to prepare. And in that, you had an extraordinary background in terms of what would be required. And obviously, a lot of the work you did with Stephen Covey to Bill Mayer, Asking the Right Questions, another fantastic book that's for our industry. Same book I read, Dr. John Gray, Why Diets Don't Work or Fail Us. Amazing book. But the bottom line is you also, obviously, you surrounded yourself with the key people, with the people who are successful. You didn't mention one person other than all those individuals that I would say would have a negative attitude towards the industry, or would say you can't do it, or they all vibrated equally as high as you did, Lenny, or even higher. And that's who you chose to surround yourself with. So to fast forward, you went to you went from 1 star, which we refer to is 10 cycles a week, $520 a week, to 5 star, which is what, 120 a week, I think.
No, that's 5 star is 100 cycles a week.
Okay, 100 cycles. So you're at $5,200 a week, which now you're over 20,000 a month. That's real money.
Rock star money to me.
Rockstar. And then when I saw you on stage, that was back when you were rocking I told you, the silver tips, the cowboy boots, and you basically, you had an amazing energy then, and you were able to get the group fired up and excited about what was the opportunity, what was available to us, and so on. Now, we obviously complicated things, as most people do. Even with success, we tend to take our success, and rather than keep being with repetition, we decide to complicate it, and we change it up. And don't ask me why we all do this, but everybody does this in every industry. And as a result, we started seeing a less than return for our effort. We went through kind of the dark years, if you will. I know we all have life in the way and things, and I know you had shared some things with me. I know I had gone through a divorce. I know you had gone through something similar. Basically things that kind of set you up, kind of knock you off your game, if you will. But you were always engaged. You've always been there. So I want to speed up to ER Shred. So obviously you started about the same time I did. I think maybe even before I did. But tell me, how did you hear about the ER Shred? Was it Sean that shared it with you? How did you learn of this crazy community we have?
Yeah, totally. And it's funny. I've had the honor and privilege of leading a few different movements and subcultures inside of Isagenix over my 17 years in this company. And so it's interesting, from the 30-day days, and then Dave MacArthur started a really great idea with a Forever Pack because it was so simple. And I still believed in the whole doing something every day for 30 days creates a habit, because Jack Canfield became my mentor because of Isagenix, and he taught me that. And so, what ended up happening is I even went vegan. I dated a gal for a couple of years, and she was vegan. And so I thought, well, I'll try being vegan, you know what? My body, I was just in a weird place. My body I felt weak. I didn't feel like myself. And then all of a sudden I saw a picture of Sean and Crystal, and Sean and Crystal and I have become so close. I love them like family, like absolute family they are to me. And I saw their picture and like, whoa. What happened to their avatars? They changed them out. Did they just order one? They're hotter than the Hollywood movie stars like Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston. I mean, hello, what is up? And I'm like, and he's like, dude, the Shred, ER Shred. I'm like, what? And I'm like, I'm gonna eat meat again. He's like, you're gonna eat meat again. I'm like, I'm in. And I just decided to do it. I did 2 back-to-back shreds in October. Changed my life. Like, it's changed my life to this day. Like, it's absolutely amazing, and it's my lifestyle now. Absolutely. I felt like I could eat like a king. I've done some other videos where I talked about how that all happened, but it was that I was able to get through the 48-hour cleanse because of the amino acids coming into my body through that beautiful meat and eggs, and then in the form of the incubated shakes. And all of a sudden I go into my cleanse days with bone broth like a badass. And I did it 2, 4, like in October, I think I cleansed 8 days. Like, it changed me. I came alive again. And Sean's like, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. And so that happened again. And I said, whoa, this is better. This is better. I said, we were this close back in the day with the 9-day. If we had just taken control of those meals in between the shakes,
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's just, and now to have Jesse, James, Jamnik on our squad, like, you could go up against anyone in the world and he is right there. He knows what is up, and so we've got all the science behind us now and everything. So that's what I want to talk about, if you don't mind, Bob, for about 5 minutes. I just want to go through a few steps here, because I believe that the way I built with the 9-day originally became one of the fastest millionaires. And then I went on a pretty crazy journey that we might go part 2 some other day about how I went sideways in St. George after my divorce and what ended up happening to me with the IRS. And wow, man, that's for another time, because I'm back, and that's then. And I'm divorcing my story and I'm marrying my future. And that is what it's all about, right? That is what it's all about. And so here are the steps. I've got 8 steps to build with the 11-day ER shred. And we can write these out or whatever, and we can change them or whatever. But number 1 is you come alive. You that's listening to me, you come alive. Like, do another one. Do them till you come alive. Like, come alive. Now, number 2 is decide yes or no to share. If it's a yes, we're going to go on to number 3. If you decide no, just go back up to number 1. It's a loop. It's cute how I have it on my little thing here. So if you're no, you just go back and keep being physically alive and living your best life, and you don't want to share. You're like, no, you're a no on that. That's okay. But if you're a yes, then number 3 is learn how to invite people, invite to ignite, invite to ignite, invite to come alive. Like, that is one of the greatest blessings we can give to people. No question in my mind. Come on. I mean, how much would it cost to do an elimination diet with a doctor and a nurse and a dietitian? $2 to $3 grand to get the baseline. And we do it in 11 days, like with Jesse and Sean and Crystal and all of you amazing people, Susan, this community is so amazing. So number
Lenny,
3 is
hold on.
invite.
Lenny, let me stop you, because you're going to get on a roll here. But right there, share, if you don't mind, share with the group how you, with all your background now, and obviously now you've got the new reference point with ER Shred. How do you share today? You have your story. You came alive. I'm brand new. I don't know anything about ER Shred, Lenny. What is this thing you're doing? You're looking pretty good, man. What's going on?
What I've been saying a lot is, I said, look, I don't know what just happened last year. Do you? Like, what was that? What just happened to us? I said, for me, as far as physical health, I want to make sure my immune system is badass. I said, what are you currently doing for your nutrition? That's just an easy nutrition conversation. It's an easy one. And then when they say, oh, blah, 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 this listen. And then I just want you to know, I've got a brand new revolutionary 11-day nutritional protocol. If you just give it a chance, I promise you, you will thank me on day 12. And if you don't, I will insist to help you get your money back. I mean, make it yours, right? Make it real. Make it whatever it is for you, but make it, and you can't, like Jimmy always used to say this, Jimmy used to say, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person, but you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So just assume everybody's the right person and say your right thing. That's it. Like, that's what that's all about right there. So that's like inviting people to come alive. You can help people, you guys, we can help them with sugar, with Dr. Pepper, with Mountain Dew. We can help them with fast food habits. We can help them with alcohol. We can help them with drug. We can help, oh my gosh, when Peter Greenlaw, he's releasing some new science that's coming up that's supporting our methodology, our protocol. So you need to, once you've come alive, you just have to confidence up about what you've got, shoulders back, and have the conversations, because you have something that is worthy of their time to listen to and watch something like that little ER Shred video that I send to everybody. It's an amazing thing that we've got right here. So having said that, now it's just about getting people, and we tell people, we share it with people, right? And as we do, I put number 4, always fan flames. Be a fanner of flames. Always be fanning everybody's flame. You got this. And we've got this community to put them in. What? It does the coaching. And thank God for all of you guys that answer before I even wake up. Every question's answered before I get up early. I live in California. We get up at like 5, but wherever you guys are, 5 is like 2 o'clock my time. I don't even know how amazing you guys are, but always fan flames. And then here it is. Step 5, at the right time, have the talk. This is the second conversation. This is the inevitability conversation. Please take the time to watch the movie The Matrix. That agent Smith, you know, he's talking to Neo and he says, can you smell that? It's the smell of inevitability. And that's what's going to happen, because when people come alive, it's inevitable that the people's friends, their circle, they're going to go, what on earth? What is the heck? And that's the inevitability talk. So you got to find out now, step 6, you gotta, at some point in there, you've got to teach the numbers. You've got to become good at teaching the little napkin presentation of the geometric progression of numbers. Everyone deserves to know that, because it's a true principle. 2 become 4, become 8, 16, 32, 64. It just doubles and doubles and doubles. It's the most amazing thing. That's what happened to me. That's happened with Sean and Crystal. That's happened to Tony and Randy, happened to Jimmy, happened to everybody. It continues to happen to everybody. So we have to teach that. That's you and me listening to my voice right now. Once they've come alive and you've had the inevitability talk, that talk looks like this. Hey, you look amazing. Look, people are going to start asking you what you're doing, or you can I would love you to at least see the business model so you can make your own decision. Okay. And then see how they react to that, because if they've come alive, they're thinking differently now. Anyone that's come alive, their brain is on. They're on. They've been turned on. The switch is flipped. So now to have that conversation, and I said, and it's such a good feeling to have people thank you for helping them get their health back in control. It's amazing. So if that person number 6,
do you have that conversation, Lenny, do you have that conversation? At what point do you have the inevitability conversation?
As soon as they've come alive from the ER shred. Day 5.
When they say, oh my God, I feel great.
As soon as they're like, what is happening to me? Raise your hand if that happened to you on the CR shred. That's something you're like, what is happening to me? Like, that happened to me. That happened to everyone. So as soon as they have that, you say, hey, I'm about to have the inevitability conversation with you. What's the inevitability conversation? Oh, the inevitable. What's the inevitable? People are going to start asking you, why do you look hot and they don't? How did you shred COVID? Like, come on, man. And so you've got to prepare, man. I've said, if you get a couple, and you know, it's so funny. I've helped so many people over the years make 500 a month, 500 a month, 500 a month, 600 a month, 700 a month. They get to 1,000 a month. That's their vacation little card. Like, I've had so many people like really like take advantage of this, not go crazy, not become millionaires. But, and you know, I have had that too, but I also, it's this other thing. So it's the inevitability conversation where, what are you going to do with the people when they ask you, how did you become so alive? How did you become so fit? You want people asking you that question, by the way. Why are you so happy? What a great question. Why are you so happy? Oh my God, please everybody go for that at least 3 times tomorrow. Why are you so happy? You know, like, be annoying with that, right? But here, let's keep going here, because I just want to finish these steps. Except for that, I think my paper flew away. Hold on. Go ahead, Bob.
Oh, and one of the things I'll bring back real quickly while you're getting your piece.
Okay.
It's not how you say it, Lenny, but it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. And that's what you got in spades with your posture, your certainty, your confidence. And of course, you got that because of your result. But go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, and pause. I want to come back on with you, or wherever this is an appropriate place to do it, and really dive into how to give a passionate, powerful 30-second shredder story, because it's really important that you can stand and deliver just your 30-second, you know, like, I was feeling bloated, man. I had no energy. My friend Sean told me about this. I did this 11-day shred. What? I came alive. I was thinking again. My memory came back. My vision was better. Like, it was amazing. And oh, by the way, 11 pounds off my body. Hello. You know, like, that's you stand and, you know, tell your story. Just get it good. Now, there's a time to be invited to Jesse's Tuesday night where you get to go for a whole hour. Ain't none of your friends want to hear that whole hour. They can go watch the video, right? No, you need to be able to, in a moment, give a Chamber of Commerce speech, which is you get 30 seconds or you get gonged, you know? And so there is a place for a 3-minute story. There's a place for an hour story, but there's a place for a 30-second story. So that's later. So here we go. So teach the numbers about our generous compensation plan, the power of two, and the geometric progression of numbers. Jimmy Smith told me to my face, it's the ninth wonder of the world, Lenny. It's the ninth wonder of the world, the geometric progression of numbers. I taught that to Dave MacArthur. I taught that to Hillary. I taught that to Tammy Hess. I taught that to all my millionaires. I taught that to everybody, but not everybody had that moment when they got it. So here it is. Part of step 6 is when they get it, this is now Come Alive 2.0. Come Alive 1.0 is your body, your mind, your physicality, your stat, your health. 2.0 is, oh my God, I could really do this. Because you can really do this. Everyone can do this if they make the phone calls, right? So each human must catch fire. And then if they don't, go back and teach them the numbers because they didn't get it. I remember when Dave MacArthur finally got it on his second month, he pulled over on the freeway, called me, he goes, dude, I get it. Like there's a moment, right? Michael Lance, he was a big time CPA and he wasn't really interested in it. And I said, Mike, just take a look at this, and then he lost 78 pounds and did 12 Ironman. And now he's a millionaire in Isagenix, right? Michael Lance, he's so cool. But it was so funny that it wasn't until he had that sleepless night. Everyone deserves to have it. You need to understand the geometric progression of numbers and how that inside our fulfillment company can help you in your financial life, and you deserve it. So as soon as that happens, number 7, this is my counsel. This is new for some ears. As soon as you find someone on your team anywhere, and it doesn't matter if you enrolled them or not, Renata Lee, one of my great friends and mentors, always said, look for the hot molecules, because it doesn't matter if you bring them in or somebody else brings them in. It doesn't matter. As long as they show up on your team and they have come alive and they're all in, then you move in with them. Yes, I said that. You actually move in. Like I say, Bob, you got an extra room. I want to come. I want to do some home parties. I want to go to the chamber, do another. This is what I did for Dave. I was so afraid of flying back in the day that I drove from St. George to Kansas City, Missouri to do little super Saturdays for Hillary Courtney. The first one, she promised me 50. We had 11. The next time I drove all the way 17 hours one way and she had 35. And then the final time, it was worth it. Trust me, Hillary Courtney, she's one of the great legends in Isagenix. I think she's earned over 15 or $20 million. It's really ridiculous, right? So move in with them. You teach them, you do 3-way calls with them, you host calls for them, you host Zooms for them, you do home parties with them. We're bringing home parties back, guys. We are. I think I want to. Shred parties? What? Inspire them, build underneath them. Never tell people you're going to put anyone under them. Never say that. Put the person under them, then call them and say, hey, I'm so grateful for you. And by the way, I enrolled someone under you. That's a powerful leadership conversation. I got put on an inside of an inside of an inside. And so did Susan Sly. And so we started back in 2005, the Insider Club. But then we didn't want to make people feel bad that had a power leg, so we disbanded. But I've never had to this day anyone in my upline, not one time put anyone in my downline. And how cool, because everyone has to build 2 legs. I'm not complaining. Everybody has to build 2 legs, and that's what's so cool. So, and then step 8, stay with them until they reach 3-star, paid as executive. Remember, I told Hillary that, and every time I look at her, she's got 22, 23, 24 paid as consultants. Here's the thing, you guys. You can do this. You were born to do this. And now that we have this, I was talking about average results, and that attracts average, I don't want to say average people. I just want to say average vibration, right? But amazing dynamic results attract amazing dynamic vibration. And that is what we have the capability right now. You're worthy to do right now, And it's interesting, when I coach people, I one of the things I love to do, and those are my 8 steps right there. But I still want 30 days. I want the board to consider how the 11-day ER shred can become something where we can habitualize it, because when we do anything like affirmations, like Don Nooner, the great Don Nooner, who was one of my first mentors, not financially connected to me, but took me under his wing. And he became one of my great mentors. And he taught me how to do affirmations. And if you do them every day for 30 days, they become part of you. And Jack Canfield taught me that. So, you know, I know we have enough in that new starter kit to last the person the whole 30 days. So just having people get up in the morning and looking, like I do these little things at my retreats. I do mirror work where I ask people to look in the mirror at themselves and say, you know, you got this. Come on. You got this. You can do this. I love you. You do that kind of stuff. And, you know, this is that kind of community right here where we get to do that kind of stuff. We watch people. What is better than helping people come alive? And that's been Tony Escobar's platform forever, right? And then once people do come alive, let's have the conversation, the inevitability talk, where we say, hey, isn't this amazing? And then ultimately, I'm gonna just end with this, and then you can keep going, whatever you got, Bob. But I want to say Isagenix for me, Lenny Evans, has become a personal growth plan. And by personal growth, I mean the art of finally not caring what people think about me. That is what personal growth is. That's why the industry is so big, because everybody cares to some level about what people think about them until they don't. And Don Nooner taught me that. You got to do that. I didn't know how to do that. And so I've been overcoming that my whole life, but here it is. So Isagenix for me has become a personal growth journey or plan, plus a very generous compensation plan. So it's a personal growth plan plus a compensation plan. So hello, you get paid to come alive. You get paid to come alive. Say it with me. You can get paid to come alive. You can get paid to come alive and get paid to help other people come alive. And when I saw Sean and Crystal, what they did with their business and how they have just blown it up, man, you know, I did all mine old school. I've never really been the new school yet, but I am now because of Olivier. And I want to give him some big kudos because he's such a beautiful servant leader and he gets technology in a way that I've never seen before. And so I just signed up for my Now site. I'm so excited about that because I've never had one. I've never been able to follow up like this with people. But Bob, I mean, gosh, you know, the thing is back to never bait and switch. You know, it's funny. I cut my teeth on little tiny short meetings in Isagenix. I figured out what to say and I would do a 30-minute meeting, product only. This is the 9-day. I pull it out of the box. This is how you do it. And this is what happened to me. And I would have 2 other stories and I would stop the meeting, hand out the apps. That's why they came. And then I would say, hey, in 20 minutes, we're doing another meeting in here, but it's going to be about one vitamin I didn't mention, vitamin M. We're going to talk about money. If you're not comfortable, don't come, because I'm going to talk about how by sharing this, you can. And so I'd break the meeting. Everybody's signing up for the 9-day. And then we'd start the meeting again. Then I had permission, no bait and switch. Never bait and switch. Never talk about something that you didn't talk to them about, that you're going to talk to them about. Like, I mean, if it's about health, let it be about that. You know, if it's about money, let it be about that. You know, take the awkwardness away. So anyway, I love this. I could talk all day about all of this, you know.
I think the best thing for all of us, I have to, again, applaud you for coming up with the terminology, come alive. I do kind of remember that back with the 9-day, and I did feel, I probably used your words. I felt like I was shot out of a cannon. And I remember saying the same thing to Sean with the ER shred. I'm amazed in the fact that you went from literally being a vegan to saying, okay, I'm back in, I'm going to eat steaks and ribeyes and, you know, I'm all meat again. That had to be a huge leap of faith. I too played with veganism for a little bit, always searching for that magic, you know, situation. But I do feel we found magic in the bottle, and that is between Sean and Crystal, Jesse, and putting this whole thing together, incubating the shakes is a huge, huge game changer for most people. But the collective, the combination is mind-boggling. And you're right. You mentioned getting the food right in the in-between meals. We never figured that out for 17 years. It, you know, just, it kind of went over my head at least. You know, have your healthy carbs. You're okay. Do this. And everybody would kind of go up a little bit. Don't worry about it. Don't, you know, you'll be okay. You're going to do another 2-day cleanse. You'll be okay.
You know, so, it's funny. Yeah. You know, what's funny is I didn't understand the elimination part of it until my second shred. I had no idea what they were talking about. What culprits? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't even know what crystal, like culprits? Like why would I want to eat a culprit? Or, you know, I didn't even understand it. It's so sneaky by eating like a king and satiating your soul with so much meat and butter until you just have to wipe it off, you know, like, and you're just satiating. And so I didn't realize I was going to go without bread or broccoli or pizza, you know, I just never even thought about it. That's what you guys, we have magic, divine magic in this 11DR shred. I want to say this too, with all my heart. I was on a Zoom with Eric Coover the other day. He was in Australia. I was in California. We went on for about 40 minutes. I let Sean and Crystal know this, and today actually, but that I told one of the things, I had many things I wanted to talk to Eric about, but one of the main topics was, hey, bro, from 2002 to 2005, 6 in there, we grew a magnificent company with dynamic results of a 9-day system. Okay, it was a system, right? And look at that leadership. That leadership held us to today. I am so grateful that all happened. And I said to him, I said, hey, Sean and Crystal, they are on to something. You know, this 11-day ER shred. I asked him right then, I said, you track Isoline Pro, you track Cleanse for Life, you track everything that we say to buy. You watch this. And he's like, oh, I know. I said, dude, check it. I mean, it's amazing. Like, you know, I'm going to be 58 next week. And I'm for sure this weekend going to ride my mountain bike at least 30, 35 miles. Look, we have the chance to really, like, not just survive in 2021, but to thrive with the 11-day ER shred, to come alive and thrive. And I think thriving is all areas. We deserve to be physically, you know, healed and whole, spiritually healed and whole. And that's what I do at my retreats. Emotionally healed and whole. And oh my goodness, financially healed and whole, because we all, God knows, we got bad programs for our parents. And so, not everybody, but, you know, not Sean and Crystal, you know, but everybody else, you know, about as far as money goes. I know I did, but now we have a chance, you guys, to spread this message. And so I just want to give my thanks to everyone. Bob, for you stepping up, brother, and just looking so freaking fit and young and hot, really. Don't get me wrong. I know Allie is right there, but Sean and Crystal stepping up and leading the way, and Jesse stepping up and leading the way, and Kimber and Sue and Heather and Mel and Susan, and forgive me, I'm going to forget someone any minute now, but just you guys, this community is special. And let's just keep giving, you know, and I'm just so grateful for all that you guys give. So I'm super pumped, man. You know, out of all my seasons in Isagenix, this is now my favorite season right now, because I finally get it. I get what it is, you know. I didn't fully get network marketing for a long time, and now I get that there's a pure essence of it. When you don't bait and switch and you don't overpromise, it can be a really beautiful thing. And that's, you know, what we're about, you know, in this community, in this tribe. So, yay.
Well, the empowering thing, everything that you've said is about empowerment. It's about taking back control. And it starts with yourself. It's healing your body, healing your physical body, but in the process, healing your mind. Because as you said, you come alive. Now, for a lot of people who are new to this, understand I have been cleansing a lot for 17 years. I know you've been doing the same program. Our time of coming alive on day 5, 6, 7 might be a little bit sooner than what you're going to anticipate, or what you not anticipate, but what you actually see happen. And I think what you had stated, you know, why would you want to keep going incrementally? If we continue to see improvement and how we feel, you want to keep pushing. Well, keep at it. I'm here to tell you, based upon what I see in you, Lenny, how I feel, what Sean has said, what Jesse said, the longer you stay with this program and the closer you stay in adherence to it, the better you feel. It just gets better and better. I'm saying month 8 is better than month 7, was better than month 6. And it's literally insanity how good you feel. And I got you beat. I'm hold on, I'm 59. As my wife says, I turned 60 this year, even though it's a late December birthday. She still reminds me of that. But I feel better today than I have at any time, at any moment in the last 17 years. And I'm excited to be able to partner up with you and with Sean and Crystal, with other people who have been super successful with us and have the right mindset. Oh, I'm going to lose that. And Lenny, I just have to say from the bottom of my heart, I look forward, sorry about that, to building this in the right manner. And that is coming from your essence, as you mentioned, coming from basically being real, authentic, a servant heart, and just seeing the best in everybody. No matter where you are in your journey, you're progressing. Hopefully you're going forward and not backwards. And that's what we're all about in this community. And what if you, we're here at the top of the hour, but what if you had one thing to leave people? I know you inspire people to take action. Is there any last thing you would like to leave the audience? I will have you back because yes, I want to dive deeper in all the other aspects you mentioned.
Yeah, thank you, Bob, and thank you, everybody. And you know, I keep hearing this word a lot lately. It's called sovereignty. It's your sovereignty, and it's when you're sovereign, you take sovereign ownership. You know, and you know, Jesse, when he stands there and says, and I challenge everybody to be able to say this. You know, I rewrote my entire belief evaluation based on the 11-day ER shred that I've been doing with everybody. And we can maybe do that another time too, with 7 questions, and you have to see where you are. But one of them is, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, where are you at in your belief in the 11-day ER shred? Okay, that's a very important question. Now, Jesse says it's the best 11-day nutritional protocol on earth. And I second it. And as soon as, you know, that's an important thing, right? So having said that, what I want to leave with everybody is, you know, I had it wrong for a lot of years. I kept teaching people that the answers were outside of them. I taught people that to get an answer, they had to go outside of themselves. And I now don't believe that. And I believe that anyone that teaches that is either, you know, ignorantly or on purpose, like leading them the wrong way, because the answers to me are inside. So empowerment, baby. Empowerment is a step towards sovereignty. So first step, become that exact, you know, powerful. You have your own sovereignty when you gain empowerment over food and drink. The 11-day ER shred does that. It gives you power. It empowers you. Now you have the power, not out there, right in here. Then if you choose to go down our road, you know, I think network marketing is cool because you don't have to quit what you're doing today. You can keep your full-time job and jump in. And so, but you just have to go through that process that we talked about, and that right there. But when you become financially free, in other words, no one can tell you where to live, what to do, what to eat. You become sovereign financially. Oh man, you guys, we have a community of people that are desiring that. And that's high vibration, you guys. When you're talking sovereignty and we're teaching people, no, the answers are in you. You got this. You can do this. Watch the willpower you have when you do that 11-day. It's going to freak you out. And then they're going, Lenny, I had so much willpower. That's sovereignty. That's power. So it's Jesse says it's the empowerment movement, but that's the beginning. And then there's more steps, right? A step into our community and step into a path towards financial freedom. And so, man, that's what I would say. Like, we're having conversations that matter. Why? Because they transfer power. Any conversation that transfers power is a very, very powerful conversation to be having. If you're not transferring power, then it's just a fun conversation. But if you can transfer power through food and eat, and you give people control over their diet, control over who's going to tell them where to live and how much they can earn and how much they're going to retire on. No, there's a way. Not everyone's it's cut out for the way, but the shredder way is the new way in town. And I think Mimi should write a song about that. And that's what I wanted to say. So I think that's awesome.
Again, I think what you do, you epitomize selflessness, but from the standpoint of coming from within, it's your energy, and it has nothing to do with the numbers. I mean, yeah, the numbers are there, but the reality is you have to feel it. to believe it, you have to feel it. To be able to say it with certainty, you have to feel it. You have to become it. And I do feel that is the empowerment. And that's what you do so well, Lenny. Thank you so much. And we do have to have you back. And as part of the business training, I think the best thing we could do for the group is really give them the skill set to hone in on their 30-second story, and then actually adapt, and as they get advanced, use other people's stories. But thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. We'll have you back. We are so lucky to have you as an ER shredder. And man, it's going to be a great journey. We're just getting started.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Lenny, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Your song is coming. Your song
It
is
was
coming.
fun.
And I just posted
Funny.
the song by the Eagles, "The New Kid in Town." I'm about to write that song tonight.
I love it.
I like that too.
I love it.
All right.
It's awesome.
Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
bye, everybody.
Good night,
Thank
everybody.
you,
Thank
everybody.
you. I wish we could see
Good
this.
night.
Bye, everybody.
This chat is so cool.
I know. Oh.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Good night,
guys.
everyone.
And Ruby, oh my God, Ruby's on. Ruby's like,
I know. I'm so happy to see Ruby.
look at her.